All right, so what's up, guys? So we are out here on another run, out here doing this crazy madness for all of you guys. Simply sit back, watch, and enjoy. And you know, throughout your life, you're gonna accumulate these magical things called habits, or the things that you do, you know, on a day-to-day basis, right? So these patterns, you know, of our activities determine our success, whether we like them or not. And you know, for many, a big factor within the success is whether or not these habits are productive or not, or counterproductive. And you know, if you have these bad habits, you will be on your way to not becoming successful or becoming unsuccessful. And you know, that's pretty bad. So you know, for you, don't worry, because we are going to give you, you know, 4 bad habits that you have to eliminate in order to be successful. And now, without further ado, we will go into habit number 1, and that is procrastination. Man, is that one lethal? Because you know, for all of us, we got shit to do, things that we need to get accomplished throughout our day-to-day activities. And you know, for many, you know, it could seem like a tall task, right? Your objectives seem like these big lofty dreams that take a lot of work. And you know, for many today might not seem like the right day to do it, or this week, or this year, etc. You get it. So you know, for you, you got to figure out, you know, how to eliminate that, right? How do you eliminate that procrastination? Right? It's like a bug, a virus that's creeping into your psyche, preventing you, you know, from wanting to do the things that you know you got to do. And you know, it can make you feel great in the short term, right? Because you're avoiding, you know, these tasks, right, that may seem torturous, you know, for some, right, or uncomfortable. So in the short term, when you're pushing them aside, when you're not doing them, you know, it could feel good, right? It's like, gosh, I'm resting, you know, I'm not doing this, life feels great. But you know, later on, from you not doing these things, it's gonna catch up with you. And you know, for many people, that can be very detrimental, right? Because you got to do these tests, you got to achieve these marks, and so forth. So by you switching it around, right, switching your short-term happiness per se, although you should be happy with what you're doing in the current moment, but you know, that's a talk for another day. And you know, you switch that short-term happiness with long-term happiness. And you know, from that long-term mindset is going to set you up to not procrastinate. You're going to avoid it because you know that the better thing for you to do right now in this very moment is your work, right? What needs to be done for you to get better and improve. And you know, only from that will you become successful. So by simply not procrastinating, you are on your way to kicking a bad habit that will be counterproductive to your success. And you will be a go-getter, someone, you know, that does what they got to do. Because we all have tasks, we all have objectives, we all have goals. And you know, by simply going through the motions of putting in the work, you're going to be on your way to getting there, to achieving that success. So you know, for you, you may be wondering, what's the second bad habit, you know, that can prevent you from becoming successful? And you know, for you, that's easy. You know, hanging out with toxic people, toxic friends, and so forth, right? People that you may think are super fun to be around, right? You have the times of your life around them. And you know, while that may be great, while that may be fun, right? Those nights out, nights or days spent on the beach, right? And so forth with these people, while that may be great, they may not share your same ambitions, your same goals, not have the drive that you have, or the one necessary to get to where you want to go. And you know, for that, as our glasses are falling off, we're gonna fix our glasses real quick. I can feel them falling off. We don't want to drop these. And you know, for you, you can't, you know, let yourself or let those people influence your actions, right? It's very hard, you know, to be around these people and not pick up little things, little behaviors, little quirks that they have. Because, you know, for many, there's a theory that goes that you are the sum or the average of the 4 or 5 people you hang out with the most. And that is, you know, so true. Because, you know, I had friends, you know, that would engage in nefarious activities, or some, you know, that like the sport, that play the sport. And, you know, being around them made me want to play that sport more. In this case, baseball. And, you know, some other friends are gym enthusiasts, and hanging out around them, guess what? I was gonna go to the gym more. But those people that aren't doing what you're doing, that are skipping the gym on a habitual basis, believe it or not, you're gonna pick up that behavior too. And, you know, from that, you know, when 5 o'clock rolls around, or 6, whatever time you go to the gym, you know, you're probably not gonna wanna go. Right? Your friends are gonna have an influence on you. You'll probably be hanging out with them instead of going to the gym. So therefore, you know, by eliminating them, you know, not effectively, right? You can lower the time you spend with them in essence. By doing that, you are gonna give yourself room in order to be, you know, engaging in these right activities, right? Not falling susceptible to a negative influence. And, you know, for that, you will be on your way to being successful, right? By eliminating those people, those toxic friends per se. And, you know, that leads us into our third habit. Habit numero 3. For, you know, preventing yourself from becoming successful. And that is to keep everything in your head, right? I'm so guilty of this. Because oftentimes when I have these goals, the ambitions, right, or I figure out new ways of getting there, I can simply keep it in my head. And, you know, many different bad things can happen as a result of that behavior. Because one thing, you have all these thoughts in your head, and what can happen with thoughts is we forget them sometimes. And, you know, all these things in your head can create clutter in your mind, right? Can be, you know, a sort of stress causer, right? And we want stress relievers. So how are we going to relieve these stresses, right, of all these thoughts and potential, right? Because we're human beings. We're only put on this earth for a certain time. And while you're here, you know, you're growing. You have potential. You still have time left. And, you know, for many that can be very scary, per se, because, you know, time will just keep going forward and forward, and you can't go back. And the thought, you know, of doing the wrong thing, of engaging in the wrong behavior, or trying to be perfect, can want to destroy you. So you can put everything aside altogether. So by writing these things down, not only will you have an easier time remembering it, but because it's going to be set there on paper, you are going to keep it off of your mind. Right? The only time you'll really think about it, or it will be necessary to, is when you engage with that paper, when the paper is in front of you. And, you know, that's the way you want it. Because, you know, I've tried to keep things on my mind. I've tried to memorize things, and I might be at or doing an entirely different activity. Right? I might be at the gym and thinking, you know, what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now as far as my career in science, per se. And, you know, while it may be good to engage in that thought, it may not be the best idea, you know, for somebody that has 225 pounds on their chest, right, that they got to lift up. So by balancing that, right, that idea, all these thoughts in your head, keeping them in check, you know, are going to be well on your way to avoiding that unsuccessful habit and being, you know, working toward your best self. And, you know, for you, we will dive into tip or habit number 4 that can hinder your success, that can prevent you from being successful. And that is a negative mindset, right? Thinking about everything that can go wrong. Now, we are humans, right? We make mistakes. We're not perfect, right? Everybody in the world isn't great or perfect in every realm. We all fall short. There's all mistakes. And you know, that's okay, right? You gotta be fine with it, because you know that's only gonna lead you to the right path, right? And that is to keep going, right? Keep failing, keep messing up, because it will lead you towards, you know, getting the skill, right? Failing over and over again until you get it right. Because if you think negative, you think wrong, you think if you mess up, it's the end of the world, you're probably not gonna wanna partake in these actions again. And it'll be horrible, right? It'll be uncomfortable, right? It's like if you wanna be a public speaker and, you know, you dread the idea of bombing, right? Of screwing up on stage, right? With so many people watching you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't mess up. I can't mess up. And guess what? You're probably gonna mess up. And you are going, you know, to carry this negative mindset. And by you messing up, that thought is gonna be ingrained in your mind. It's gonna haunt you like a scary dream. So, cut that out, cut out that negative thinking, and you'll be on your way to becoming successful. So, now for you, these are the 4 tips or habits that will, you know, prevent you from becoming successful. They're bad habits. And, you know, without further ado, we say thank you so much and goodbye.